Hey, welcome there, everybody. You're joining our 2016 Mets replay, and this is game 115 versus the San Diego Padres. Mets record right now is 61 and 51, and that's a few games better than what they actually had that season. Um, so this is game 115, and we're playing at Citi Field here in Flushing, Queens, not far from LaGuardia Airport. The a usual sighting is the planes flying overhead of the stadium here, and you got the bay right across, and you're about 20 minutes, 25 minutes from Midtown Manhattan on the 7 train. You have a 7 Express train, and we're ready to get started. It's going to be Paul Clemens for the Padres. Clemens was 4-5 with a 4.04 ERA, and Logan Verrett, and he's from Texas, so it's pronounced Verrett, um, and he was 3-8 with a 5.20 ERA. He gets 12 starts for the Mets in 2016, and this is one of them. Um, so he's kind of filling in for a Matt Harvey and so forth, a few pitchers that the Mets have that are down with injuries. So we're going to get started right away. It's going to be Jankowski, Myers, and Solarte, the center fielder, first baseman, and third baseman for the Padres, leading off. And we're using Stratomatic Basic to keep it moving. And we're ready to roll. So play ball. Here's the first pitch from Logan Verrett. Switch places right there. Home pitcher goes underneath. So it's going to be a 5-11. It's off Verrett's card, and we're going to roll there for an X. It's a 9. And Verrett is a 2 pitcher. So that should be an out. Verrett feels his position and throws out Jankowski. So that's Will Myers is batting second. Now, Will Myers originally was with the Tampa Bay Rays. Came over in the trade. 2-5 off of Will Myers, and that's hit hard right up the middle and through to center field for a base hit. So Myers on at first with a single. Next is Yangervis Solarte. He came over from the Yankees. He batted 286 with 15 home runs, 400 at bats, so not too shabby. And it's 212. And the 12 is going to be a hard hit ground ball, but right back to the pitcher, Verrett, and he goes to second for 1, back to first, not in time. So it's a fielder's choice for Solarte, out number 2, and it's Dickerson. Corey Dickerson has good power. He hit 10 home runs in 250 at bats. The left fielder for San Diego, it's a 1-5, and that's ball 4. Next up is Ryan Shemp, and he is the second baseman. Say 3-7, and that's ball 4. Base is now loaded. For the Padres are threatening here in the top of the first inning against the Mets and Verrett. And it's Jabari Blash. Jabari Blash batted 169 and 71 at bats with 3 home runs, and that's a 5-5. That's going to be off Verrett's card, a 5-5. And that ball is lifted deep center field, and back goes the center fielder, Deaza, to the track, to the wall. He looks up. That's out of here. Grand slam for Jabari Blash. Mets find themselves down here in the top of the first inning by 4 runs. And next up is Betancourt, catcher. The pitch, it's a 3-6, and that's a hard hit ground ball right to shortstop Reynolds. He feels it, guns it to first for the third out, but the damage has been done, and the Padres pick up 4 big runs here in the top of the first on a Jabari Blash grand slam home run. They lead at 4-0, and the Mets coming to bat. Curtis Granderson against Paul Clemens. And we're going to do something here to make it a little bit. Hate the moving around, but it's that way you minimize the potential for an error in terms of reading the numbers and reading the cards. So Clemens is batting, and it's a 5-5 off Clemens. A 5-5. That's a strikeout. So Granderson down on strikes, out number 1. Next up is going to be TJ Rivera. And that's 5-3. And that's a ground ball right back to the pitcher. Pitcher's a 3, and that's an 8. That's a ball handled by Clemens. And back to first. 2 away. And next is Walker, Neil Walker. Neil Walker's one of the players we're keeping stats on. We'll pull those out pretty soon. And that's a 2-5. 2-5, and that's a strikeout. Down on strikes. Walker's. That's the second strikeout in the third out of the inning. Go to the top of the second now. 4-0 Padres. The Mets are going to have to claw their way back if they expect to get back into this one. They're down 4-0 after the grand slam home run on top of the first by Jabari Blash. It's going to be Nick Noonan. There was no card for Noonan, so we pulled the catcher. He batted 167, so we pulled one of the pitcher hitting cards. We're using that. Just taped stuck his name to the top of the card. So 110, and that's a strikeout. Next is Paul Clemens. He uses the same card. So 1-9, that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 2. And then it goes back to the top of the order, Jankowski. Three, 4, and that's a ground ball right at the shortstop, Reynolds, over to first for the third out. So we go to the bottom of the second now. It's going to be Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce against Paul Clemens. It's a 6-7. It's a fly ball lifted to right field. Blash is there. Out number 1. Loney. Here's a pitch. It's 3-5. That's lined. Base hit to right field for James Loney. He was picked up as a free agent after Lucas Duda went down earlier in the season. He's been the Mets' first baseman ever since. By the end of the season, Mets release him and kind of disappears. Haven't heard much from him. I don't think he's been picked up by any other team. Travis d'Arnaud now, runner on first and 1 out, 6-11. It's a fly ball right field. X. Right fielder is a 3. And we rolled a 4. It's going to be off his glove in right field. And making it to second. Scoring is going to be Loney on that. And making it to second is d'Arnaud. 2-base error on the right fielder, Jabari Blash, allowing a run to score. So it's 4-1 now. And Alejandro De Aza, who's in the minors right now, doing pretty well, batting in the high 300s. 5-8, and that's lifted deep to center field. That's going to be over the wall, gone, out of here. 2-run home run for De Aza. And the Mets have crept back to 4-3 now. Matt Reynolds, it's a 3-9, and that's a swing and a miss for the second out. 2 away. Third strikeout for Clemens. And it's going to be the pitcher Verrett. And Verrett is going to use the pitcher 1 card, but we're going to see if we roll over off before we look for it. Let's see if it's off the pitcher's card. And it's not. It's a 3-5. 3-5 is going to be a ground ball right to the shortstop. Shortstop is Noonan over to first for the third out. But the Mets pick up 3 runs. And it's a 4-3 ball game now. We go to the top of the third. So Myers, Solarte, and Dickerson. And it's a 4-4. That's going to be off of Verrett's card. 4-4. That's a fly ball lifted to center field. Center fielder Deaza squeezes it. Out number 1. Solarte's up next. Third baseman for San Diego batted .286. So 1-4. And that's a hard hit ground ball right at Reynolds. Guns it to first and gets Solarte by a step. And Alex Dickerson, who walked and scored a run in that first inning, it's 2-11. That's popped up to the right side. And Walker calls everybody off. Out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the third. Go to the bottom of the third. It's a 4-3 ball game. Mets were down by 4 runs at one point. They came back. And it's 3-10 to Curtis Granderson. 3-10, and that's a ground ball to the second baseman. 1 away. Six, 9. Be a hard hit ground ball right at the shortstop, but there's an X after that, so he's a 3. We're gonna see what that turns out to be. It's a 15, and it's booted. E6. So Rivera's on at first on an error by the shortstop. Let's play that ball, and it's Walker now. It's a 2-2. It's a hard hit ground ball right at the shortstop. And Noonan to second, back to first for the third out. Go to the top of the fourth. So Walker hits into a double play. And it's going to be Shemp, the second baseman. And that's a 5-6 off of Logan's card. A 5-6. It's a strikeout. And Jabari Blash, he's the one who hit the grand slam earlier in the game, but also made an error that allowed a couple of Met runs to score eventually. And it's 4-7. 4-7 is a walk ball 4 to Blash. And it's Betancourt next. The pitch, it's a 3-7. It's a hard hit ground ball right at the third baseman. TJ Rivera goes to second, back to first, double play. And we go to the bottom of the fourth. It's going to be Bruce for the Mets in the bottom of the fourth inning against Paul Clemens. Say 3-6. A 3-6 is a strikeout. Bruce down on strikes. Bruce was picked up recently from the Cincinnati Reds. So 1-8, and that's hit up the middle and through to center field for a base hit. So Loney's 2 for 2. Not much speed on the bases for Loney. And here's Travis d'Arnaud. That's a swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes d'Arnaud. That's the 5th strikeout for Clemens. And Alejandro Deaza. And that's a 2-5. 2-5. That's going to be a split dive. That's line into the gap, and that's cut off quickly. But over to third goes Loney, and Deaza's on with a single. So a 2-out single, and the runners on the corners now in the bottom of the fourth inning. And it's Reynolds. Matt Reynolds. Reynolds struck out in his first at bat. So pitch to Reynolds. It's a 4-3. It's a fly ball left field. Left fielder is Dickerson, a 4. So that's not a good sign. 19. And you're going to have to roll that again. That's an 11 on a 4, and that drops in there. That's going to go for 2. And Loney's going to score. And they're going to, and that's going to be they're going to try to score Deaza. And Deaza is, here's the throw, and Deaza is going to be, he's a 14-16 in there under the tag. So the Mets take the lead on a 2-out, 2-run double by Matt Reynolds. in the bottom of the fourth. The Mets are up 5-4 now, and it's the pitcher, Verrett, with 2 outs, 2-9. That's a ground ball right to the first baseman, Myers. He fields it unassisted for the 3rd out, but the Mets pick up 2 big runs here, and they take the lead 5-4 now. So the Mets have managed to come back in this game. We're gonna have to plug in. Our phone's running out of battery, so we're gonna have to move the angle a little bit so the cord will reach us. Let me see a little jiggling for a second here while I plug this thing in. There we go. So it's going to be Noonan, Clemens, and Jankowski here. Probably going to see a pinch hitter for the pitcher Clemens. Here's the pitch to Noonan from Verrett. That's a 6-10. It's going to be a fly ball center field, X. Our center fielder is a 3. And that's the ball that De Aza gets to. So 1 away now. And a pinch hitter. Let's see who it's going to be. We're going to go. Not too many players were actually used in this game, so we're going to go back a little bit, and we're going to look at the game after this to see who's on the roster for the Padres, so that we can pick. Shouldn't take too long. Just going to go to game 116 to see what kind of pinch hitters they had. Brett Wallace, Adam Rosales. Let's see if these guys, I can get to these guys pretty quickly. Brett Wallace and Adam Rosales. There he is. Brett Wallace is going to pinch hit. So Wallace. Okay, here's the pitch to Wallace. Let's see, Wallace may stay in the game. See what happens. And it's 2-7. 2-7, that's a fly ball lifted to right field. The right fielder, Bruce, over. 2 down. And it's going to be Jankowski, top of the order for the Padres. Jankowski, the center fielder for the Padres, batted .245 with 2 home runs and 335 at-bats. I use these sleeves. It makes it much easier to handle the cards. Keeps all the grime off them. Here's the pitch from Verrett. That's 6-10. It's going to be off Verrett's card. That's a fly ball center field X again. So where do we have our 20-sided die? It's an 11. And that's going to drop in there. And around first goes Jankowski. Here's a throw to second. He's safe under the tag. So it's a 2-out double for Jankowski. Just, I think it's Diaz out there. I believe that was center field. Just didn't get a good read on that ball. Right from the start, you saw him take a step back. Let's see, 5-12 now, 5-12, and that's ball 4. So there's definitely action, movement in the Mets bullpen. Got Hansel Robles out there, moving around. And it's going to be Solarte. 2 outs, runners on first and second. And a 5-4 Met ball game, Met lead here in the top of the 5th, and that's a 6-2. This may be all. It's a fly ball lifted to right field. Right fielder Bruce over down to the line and makes the catch for the 3rd out. So the Mets get out of that threat. And we go to the bottom of the 5th now. It's 5-4 Mets. New pitcher for the Padres. See if we can find Bauman. Or Bauman. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. So, You know what? We got Hand. Hand I can pronounce. So let's look for him. Brad Hand's going to come in there. He's a lefty. But he's a kind of a long reliever type. Seen him go. And the Mets are going to have their lefties coming up. So yeah, it's going to be Brad Hand who's going to pitch now. All right. It's going to be, the top of the order is going to be Granderson. Granderson, T.J. Rivera, and Walker, 2 out of 3 lefties. Here's the pitch to Granderson from Brad Hand, lefty. It's 4-10, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop X. The shortstop is for the Padres is Noonan, 8-3, and that's a 10. And that's a ball that he feels and guns it to first, and out number 1. Gets Granderson by a step. T.J. Rivera next. That's a 2-4, and that's a line drive base hit for T.J. Rivera. So Rivera on at first. Walker, and that's a 4-7. 4-7, that's a swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Walker. For out number 2, and it's Bruce. Bruce is 0 for 2 today. He flied out and struck out. And it's 3-9. Yeah, that's a strikeout. So we go to the top of the 6th inning. It's 5-4 Mets. And it's going to be Dickerson, Shimp, and Blosh. Here's the pitch from Verrett, who's still in the ballgame for the Mets. Excuse me. And it's 6-9. That's a ground ball, hard hit right to shortstop. Reynolds, who's a 3, and that's an 11. And makes the play and guns it to first. Out number 1. Shimp is up next. Ryan Shimp, the second baseman. Shimp batted .217 with 20 home runs. 1-9. And that's a swing and a miss. Out number 2. And that's strikeout number 4 for Verrett. It's a 4-9. 4-9 is a fly ball lifted to left. Left fielder Granderson over. Squeezes it. 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the 6th. So good job by Verrett for the Mets. 5-4 ball game. There's action in the Mets bullpen, so we may see another pitcher. See what happens here. And it's going to be Loney, James Loney, facing Brad Hand. 2-11. That's lined and caught by Shimp. 1 away. Travis d'Arnaud. Swing and a miss, down on strikes. Strikeout number 3 for Brad Hand. Here's the pitch to Hand. Alejandro De Aza. And it's 6-7. And that's ball 4. So De Aza's on at first with 2 outs. And you're going to see it's Matt Reynolds. Matt Reynolds doubled home 2 runs to give the Mets the lead in the 4th inning. The pitch, it's a 2-7. And that's going to be a split die. That's hit pretty well in the gap. It's going to be 8. But chasing it down is going to be the left fielder, Dickerson, for out number 3. So the Mets leave 1, and at the end of 6, it's 5-4 Mets. We go to the top of the 7th inning. It's the bottom of the order for the Padres. It's going to be the catcher leading off, Betancourt. It's the pitch to Betancourt from Verrett, and it's 3-8. It's a strikeout. Number 5. Noonan It's 2-8. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Noonan. And that's a pitcher spot. We'll see a pinch hitter. Let's see who works as a pinch hitter. We had Brett Wallace. I believe we used Adam Rosales was on this team as well. See if we have a card for Adam Rosales. Don't know that we will. Yes, we do. Adam Rosales is going to pinch hit. There you go, Adam Rosales. So Rosales for hand, top of the 7th. Here's the pitch to Adam Rosales. And it's a 5-7. 5-7 is a line drive. And caught by the second baseman. No, by the third baseman. L5 for the third out. So 3 up and 3 down again for Ray. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. It's the Mets 5-4. In the bottom of the 7th, you see it looks like we have a pinch hitter for the Mets. Pinch hitter for the Mets here in the bottom of the 7th. It's going to be, and the pitcher, we're going to need a new pitcher for the Padres, and that's going to be let's see if we have Wallace coming out. Let's see if we can find his card. We have a card for Wallace. No, we do not. Do we have a card for Morrow? He's a I think we're going to bring in a guy named Buchter. I think that's how you pronounce his name, Ryan Buchter. So Buchter's going to come out in relief. And that's going to be, Buchter is it's a lefty, another lefty. So, we're going to get a pinch hitter for the Mets. Who's it going to be? That's the question. TJ Rivera's in the ball game. See who we have here. So we're going to go back again and look for, I'm not sure who exactly is on the roster for the Mets at this point, because there's roster changes being made every day. So we're going to go to game 3 and take a look at that. And Flores is in there, so Flores is going to come out and bat. Going to get an opportunity here. Wilmer Flores in the bottom of the 7th. For the pitcher, Verrett. Verrett goes 7 innings, and he gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs. But that was all in the first inning. 2 walks, 3 walks, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts. 1 big home run to Jabari Blash, the grand slam. And then we're going to get. It's going to be Jankowski leading off. So we are going to get, Jankowski's a lefty. We're going to get a lefty. We're going to get Blevins to come in for 1 inning the most. So Blevins is going to pitch to Myers, Solarte, and get him to go an inning unless there's trouble. So the pinch hitter is Wilmer Flores. Going to be facing Ryan Buchter. Here's a pitch, and it's 1-5 off Flores' card, and that's lined base hit center field for Flores. So Flores for Verrett. Singles. This will be Granderson, Curtis Granderson now, the lefty. Playing left field today for the Mets. He plays right field, center field, and left field. It's the pitch. It's a 3-3. It's a pop-up to the right side. Second baseman, Shimp. 1 away. TJ Rivera up next. It's a 3-6 now. That's a hard hit ground ball right at the shortstop. Noonan over to second, back to first. Double play on the Padres. Get out of the inning with a double play here in the bottom of the 7th. We're going to the top of the 8th now. It's a 5-4 ball game. It's going to be Jerry Blevins pitching for the Mets. Let's pull Jerry Blevins' card. He's a lefty. Jerry Blevins had a 2.79 ERA and a 4-2 record. We'll take a quick peek at that. So he was effective. He's a specialist type, goes after that one big lefty hitter. And it's going to be Jankowski for the Padres leading it off. And here's the pitch. It's a 2-5, and that ball is lined and through for a base hit. So Jankowski on with a single. Next up is Will Myers. And that's a 3-8. And that ball is lined as well and caught by the third baseman. Nice catch by TJ Rivera. Out number 1. Young Ervis Solarte, the third baseman, batted .286 with 15 home runs. And here's the pitch. It's a 5-6 off Blevins. That's a swing and a miss. Young Ervis goes down on strikes. Out number 2. Alex Dickerson. That's a 3-9, and that's a split die. That's going to be in the gap, and that's going to roll to the wall. And Jankowski, they're going to try to score Jankowski to tie the game, and he does. He's in under the tag and going to second with a double, a 2-out double is going to be Dickerson. So the Mets left Blevins in there to face, well, the lefty Dickerson, which makes sense. Kind of worked out. But Dickerson makes Blevins pay. And next is Shimp. And Shimp is also a lefty. So we're going to leave Blevins, see if he can get out of trouble here. 3-11. And that's a ground ball hit right at Walker over to first. Out number 3. But the Padres tie it up. The Padres tie it up here in the top of the 8th on the RBI double by Dickerson. And it scores 5-5 now. For the bottom of the 8th, it's going to be Walker, Bruce, and Loney against Buchter. Ryan Buchter. Here's the pitch. 4-12, and that's ball 4. So Walker lives up to his name. Takes a free pass, heads over to first. Jay Bruce is 0 for 3, flat out struck out twice. Here's the pitch. It's a 5-8 off of Buchter's card. A 5-8 is a swing and a miss, down on strikes. For out number 1, Bruce strikes out for the 3rd time. He's 1 strikeout away from the golden sombrero. And it's going to be James Loney. Here's the pitch. It's a 2-9. That's a hard hit ground ball right to first baseman. He looks, goes to second, back to first. 3-6-3. Double play. Second double play of the day. Turned by the Padres. Go to the top of the 9th. And we're going to see Addison Reed in the top of the 9th for the Mets. It's going to be facing Blash, Betancourt, and Noonan. Let's find Reed. Addison Reed was outstanding in 2016 as a Met, had a 1.97 ERA with a 4-2 record. Take a quick peek at his stats for that year. Outstanding. He's coming in to face Blash, Betancourt, and Noonan. Here's the pitch from Reed to Jabari Blash, who hit a grand slam in the first inning, 4-7. And that's going to be a split die line drive, and that's caught by the first baseman, Loney. L3 for out number 1. Next is Betancourt. That's a 5-4 off Reed. That's a catcher's card X. Catcher's a 3, and that's a 9. That's popped up. And that looks like it's going to be d'Arnaud's ball. So 2 away now. And next is Noonan. Nick Noonan. 2-8. That's a swing and a miss. Noonan down on strikes. So we go to the bottom of the 9th inning in a 5-5 tie. Mets are going to send up d'Arnaud, De Aza, and Reynolds against Buchter. Actually, we're going to see a pitching change. It's going to be Brandon Morrow. Brandon Morrow is going to come in. He's a 0-5 with a 4.52 ERA, but he is one of the top pitchers. He's their closer. Brandon Morrow. He's going to face d'Arnaud, De Aza, and Reynolds here in the bottom of the 9th. It's the only game we're going to play till this evening. We're going to probably play game 2 and 3 tonight. We're going to try to do that. We're going to watch the Mets after this. Then we have to go work out for a while. Okay, d'Arnaud is up. Here's a pitch from Morrow. That's a 5-7 off Morrow's card. A 5-7 going to be a split die line drive in the gap. Going to see what it turns out to be, and that's going to go for a double. So d'Arnaud, a winning run on at second base, a leadoff double by Travis d'Arnaud. And next is going to be De Aza. De Aza is going to bunt, and that's going to be a sacrifice, successful sacrifice. So d'Arnaud is on at third base, 1 out, and it's going to be Reynolds, Matt Reynolds. Morrow is a righty, and Reynolds is 1 for 3, a 2-run double, and he's been hot lately. So they're going to intentionally walk Reynolds, first and second now, and it's going to be the pitcher spot. You're going to see a pinch hitter. Pinch hitter. It's going to be Kelly Johnson. Kelly Johnson can pinch hit. Runs on the corners. So now walk-off opportunity. The infield is going to be brought in. And here's the pitch from Morrow to Kelly Johnson. It's going to be a 4-7. 4-7 is going to be a hard hit ground ball right at the second baseman, X. Second baseman is a 4. So this could be the ball game here if he boots it. See what happens. A 7 under a 4, and he does. Ball game's over. E4 off his glove at second base. Shemp makes the error that allows the Mets to walk off. And d'Arnaud getting mobbed, as well as pinch hitter Kelly Johnson, who hit the ground ball right at the second baseman with the infield in. And Morrow's going to get the loss. Reed is going to get the victory. Mets improve their record to 62-51. Now the actual record for the Mets at this point in the season is 62-51. Now the first game with the Padres, they were 57-58. So we're doing, way better than the Mets actually did that year. But the Mets do have a winning streak coming up. Between games 20 and 30, they win, I think, 6, 7, 8 out of 10. No, 9. 9 out of 10. You have to go through a pretty decent winning streak. So the Mets win this one in the bottom of the ninth in walk-off fashion on an error by Shemp, the second baseman, with the infield drawn in. It was Kelly Johnson who pinch hit for the Addison Reed in the bottom of the ninth inning after a leadoff double by Travis d'Arnaud and then a bunt, a sacrifice by De Aza, putting d'Arnaud at third. They walked Matt Reynolds and brought the infield in to face Kelly Johnson, who hit the ball right at Shemp, but Shemp kind of took his eye off it, looking at the runner, and just hit off the heel of his glove, and it rolled away, and the game was over. Mets win it 6-2. Reed gets the win. Morrow gets the loss. Game 1 of a 3-game series against the San Diego Padres. And that's all for now. Thanks, guys. See you later.